Sometimes we are so judgmental with other people. We do that, and I do believe we need to let that go. So Chris 2X today talking to us sincerely and truly so that we will get past so many things in our community that are holding us back. 35 years ago, you had federal charges. 25 years ago, state charges. You've been out of the penitentiary now for 23 years. I've heard some people say, how can Christopher 2X be doing what he was doing in the life that he led? And I've had other people say, Christopher 2X has never been in trouble. Look at all the wonderful things he has done. What do you say when you think about all of that? What do you think when you think about all that?
Well, the first thing I love telling young individuals when I have these conversations with them is the spirit of redemption and second chances is real. But you got to have a work ethic in your mind to get to those better spaces. I know about the dark days. I know about the pain. But equally at the same time, 23 years ago when I left prison, I felt that my best days were ahead of me once I started to get involved in community actions. And that's when I started my plight in the community, going to different organizations, saying how I could help. And we are where we are now, January the 4th, 2021.
How hard was that for you to have that positive attitude? Because people will judge you and talk about you and try to put roadblocks in your way simply because of what you have done, not knowing what you're capable of.
True. And I knew that I would be confronted with that conversation constantly. However, I don't know if it's a such thing, Dawne, as possessive blinders put, over my eyes, if you will. I blocked it out.
And kept going.
I took the hits. But I knew if I stayed consistent, there would be some decent results.
So here's the odd thing. You were just granted a pardon from President Trump. Mm-hmm. Our friend, he is friends to us both, Rob Givens, Brigadier General, and now part of Rand Paul's team, came to you and said, with everything that you do and as important as you are, let's get rid of some of this baggage, get this pardon. And you at first weren't hearing it. This was not.
No, when I got the call from General Givens in 2019, we actually met at a luncheon in August of 2017, so we had started to evolve a good friendship. And when he called me on the phone, talked about that, and I told him, let me talk to my daughters and my family, and we were just reluctant. We was like, again, 35 years ago on the federal issues, 25 on the state, 23 years out of prison, we could live with it. And Rob was persistent to say, let me go after the state pardon first, and then we'll see what happens on the rare federal pardon as it relates to a presidential pardon. And finally, we just said, okay, we trust you, but just be quiet about it, and we'll see what happens.
So, Rob, and I know you don't mind that I call you Rob.
I prefer that, actually.
Okay, yeah, we are dear friends. Why'd you do this? And when you see that the pardon has come through and it is now done, how important is this, you think, to others? Well, tell me about all that.
Well, there's a whole backstory to the entire event, and so Chris and I did have an association. And when Senator Paul asked me to take over for Jim Milliman as his state director last year, one of the first things he said to me, he goes, "I know you have an association with Chris. Let's see what we can do to continue to work with him." Jim Milliman had worked with Chris before, and Senator Paul had been introduced to him, I think 5 years ago now, and they had developed a relationship working on things throughout the community, which was great. So it was a logical step. I wasn't sure where this would all go, but talked with Senator Paul more about it and said, hey, what do you think about supporting a pardon? And we took a look at all the stuff that Chris had done, of course, and we were fully aware with that. But then we were able to make the decision pretty easily that, yes, let's support a pardon at both the state and the federal level. With Chris being with his blinders on, we found out about the federal charges at that point in time as well, but we said, look, let's try and get it all accomplished. He was adamant. He is telling the truth. He said, I'm not sure I want to do this, and explain the reasons why. But, here's the thing. is we wanted to do whatever it took to have this man restored to his full citizenship as an American. And Senator Paul was adamant about that. And so there's a huge cast of people in our office that have been working for the better part of a year to see this happen. And so when it did happen, we were ecstatic with it. In fact, when my predecessor was told, he actually wept when he found out that this man who is so deserving of our redemption and of our praise, and us to be able to model our lives after the activism that he is doing to make the community a better place as a private citizen, we're very, very happy that we were able to be a part of that.
So, to both of you, I know that this means a lot to you, Chris. However, I know that you would have continued doing what you were doing regardless of what anybody thought or whatever was going on in your life. But what does it mean for others? For that person that just can't break through the past, what do you have to say to them? We'll start with you, Chris, and then Rob, you tell me what you think.
Well, Don, for me, a couple of quick points. On the night I got the call, it was the night before Christmas Eve. Oh, no, actually, it was Christmas Eve. No, the night before Christmas Eve, that Wednesday. And when we got the call, I asked General Givens to do me a special favor to explain to my family via cell phone, kind of conference deal, explain this process. Because for me, I told my family, I've got to explain to younger individuals and even older ones that you don't need a presidential pardon to make a big difference. They're rare as they get. They're not easy to get. So I don't want anybody to think they don't have the power to create redemption, second chances in their own life, inward, and then how it spills out outward for them to make a big difference. And the biggest applause will come from within always, Don.
Rob, for you, why was it so important that you worked on this?
Well, two things. One is to recognize Chris and his accomplishments and what he's done. And he's right. It was not an easy process. Those that think it's a simple wave of the hand by the president don't understand that we spent a year working with the Department of Justice at the federal level. Travis Rowland from our staff in Washington, D.C. was engaging with DOJ daily. Kelsey Cooper here in Kentucky was also working with Chris and engaging. The senator, at every possible opportunity when he would talk to the president, would always bring up Chris's case. Chris and I would continue to talk. But, there's another aspect to this. Besides showing the individual redemption, you work hard, you can be redeemed. And Chris is right. You don't need a pardon, a presidential pardon, to do that. But what this does is this does show an example and shows it to the public and to the community at large that when you deal with people who've had a past, understand that these are people whose lives can change and things can be better, and they shouldn't be condemned for the rest of their lives, for things that they did at an early age, if they're willing to make the effort and change, and to really become a part of the solution like Chris has done.
Chris, we've only got just about 30 seconds here. We're talking to someone, I know that. We're talking to somebody's mama or some young man or woman who's taken their life down the wrong road. Just speak to them for a second here and give them some hope, maybe some motivation.
The mere fact that my daughters got to hear from General Givens about this pardon and watching the glow come over their face is the same way that person who might be in similar situations like I can make a difference with their family and the loved ones that they love so much, is to bring that glow to them by creating a new about-face turnaround effort to impact their lives first, and then, again, outwardly, they can impact a lot of lives through a newfound work ethic for change. Simple as that. Redemption, second chances.
All right. Rob Givens and also to Christopher Truex, I thank you both so much.
Thank you.
And I know that there are some people who feel like they're not even worthy of love, but you are. If good Lord made you and you're here on this earth, then you certainly are.
Find the value within yourself.
Find
share
the value within yourself, because it's there. I promise you that it is. Love you both. I thank you both so very much. When we get back, we're going to celebrate some of the music of Kentucky with a local artist that is really making his way. We'll be back.